Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 bot AI cast. And we have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's going to be none other than Caninana in the top left-hand side of the map, taking on a much-loved bot. It's Sharkbot. And I shouldn't just say much loved for Sharkbot, as Caninana is a much loved bot as well. And I actually missed it a little bit, as the bot author was kind enough to send me a message to say, hey, don't cast any of my bot games for now because it's randomly crashing, and I don't know why. And anyone that's a programmer can relate to that. Sometimes it's just hard to find bugs, even though everything to do with programming is logical. It can be difficult to see exactly what's going on sometimes. So anyway, that was much appreciated. And now I'm glad to be able to cast a Caninana game again, taking on a Sharkbot. Not a race of sharks, which would be something probably in like a newly released RTS, if I had to guess, which would actually be kind of cool. But a Protoss bot that's a little bit cheesy and is just chaos. I feel like Sharkbot is just like neutral chaos if I've ever seen it. And so we're going to see how well Caninana can do to weather the storm of potential shenanigans, but then also to potentially clash against Sharkbot, as Sharkbot is another phenomenal late-game bot. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy these bot versus bot casts, it goes a long way. Make sure to click that like button, give it a click, give it a clack. Whatever it may be, takes about 2 seconds, and while you're down there, leave a comment saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot games, as that goes a long way, as the YouTube algorithm wants to know that you want more bots. And yeah, we have got this probe getting chased on home. It's actually racing a Ling. The Ling, however, is in the fast lane. But that probe of Caninana is just scouting out. And we also saw Sharkbot saying that's an early pool. And it's kind of funny. Sharkbot, of course, a Protoss bot, would have a detector for that, to basically say, like, yeah, I'm being cheesed, to have a response. Sharkbot, however, just scouted that. But Caninana really just likes to play it safe in the early game. A Ling has been locked into the main base of Sharkbot. We've got Sharkbot cheekily saying, now what, upon closing that door. I think that may still be a little bit of the programming that might have been triggered by seeing Caninana's early pool. I do love Sharkbot walling. It's very difficult to wall as a Protoss player, because you got to manage your unit just right and place all your buildings in exactly the right position. And so programming a bot to do that, I can't imagine how difficult it must be. And we have seen Sharkbot, though, have some pretty solid walls in the past, even using like adept shades to block other adepts. Really cool stuff like that. Now we've got Burrow on the way for Caninana. It really likes to use Burrow to prevent harassment from killing its drones, and it is pretty effective at that. We've got a third base going up for the Zerg, so Caninana doesn't go for the fastest third base in the world, but it does play it very safe. And now we've got Sharkbot going for Twilight Council. This one Void Ray will kill that Overlord. The Ling in the main is still scouting out for Caninana, which is real nice for the Red Zerg, seeing whatever's coming, as Caninana is a rather advanced bot. I imagine it's got quite a good amount of triggers when it sees something. Like if Sharkbot built a Dark Shrine, I imagine Caninana would put 2 and 2 together. Although we are just seeing a third base go up for the blue Protoss. It's a 3 base against 3. That wasn't quite scouted. Had Caninana's vision or Sharkbot's vision selected for a second there. You just see how fast these bots click between everything. We've got this Void Ray, though, being a nuisance for Sharkbot, actually killing off a decent number of drones. 2 drones and the Overlord is a good amount of damage for our first Overlord, particularly against a Zerg bot that plays it as safe as Caninana. Behind this, we've got an Oracle coming out for Sharkbot. So we'll see if there's going to be any more damage that potentially gets done. And I just gotta say that the level of these bot games has just been phenomenal lately. I know I've been casting them for a while at this point, but it does seem in the past like few months, some of these bot authors have really upped their games. And yeah, I for one am thoroughly enjoying it. We've got Sharkbot going for 1 Oracle, getting out a second, so we'll see if it's going to go for a double hit squad. There is a Ling still running around in the main base, getting lots of information. A Stalker gets warped in to deal with that. The Ling may have been allowed to survive this long, maybe because it's just been a peaceful scout. Does get taken out, though. Behind this, Caninana has a spine going up at its 3rd base. Tunneling Claws is on the way, just squeezing out drones, getting out a couple of Lings here and there. And yeah, just that slow and steady macro that Caninana does so well. A Void Ray finds 2 Overseers. Those could be some nice pickoffs for Sharkbot, as the Void Ray was heading back for a second, and then it's like, wait a second, I can kill these. And it is taking its time, though, as the Sharkbot is kind of just doing that basic attack move. Now, looks like we do have some Adepts flying around and pushing at the front, so kind of looking like a classic Protoss push. Meanwhile, 2 Oracles come on in. The drones actually start running away very wisely from Caninana. That's part of why Sharkbot probably waited for 2, was so that it could reveal the drones and prevent Caninana from using that automatic burrow mechanic to keep those workers alive. However, it was a pretty decent response by Caninana to defend against this. The Adepts didn't get too much done. We did just see the 2nd Oracle go down there in the corner, and yeah, Sharkbot even acknowledging that. So maybe the Oracles need to take a bit more care. All in all, though, it's not a bad position for Sharkbot because it has got 67 workers. It's out-macroing Caninana by a long amount. As Caninana, yeah, has just been building lots of units, enough to defend a push like that, but that has its own costs. The lack of a 4th from the Zergbot is getting worrisome, as there is already a 4th base going up for Sharkbot. Caninana, it has always done this, though. It's always been the slow one to macro up. We're just going to have to wait and see if this game, if it's going to be able to just play it out, take good enough trades against Sharkbot, that eventually it will hit that late game and win off it, that it's so good with. Caninana has some of the best late game bot control that we've ever seen. Now, we've got Stalkers on the way for Sharkbot. There's some static defense getting thrown down. I'm glad to see that. There's some more Oracles that have been made. And then a Robo-Bay on the way, so there's going to be a Colossus coming out for Sharkbot. Sharkbot likes to build into that big old Death Ball, Colossus, Void Rays, Carriers, that kind of thing. Whereas Caninana is now going for Hydroden, getting out lots of Lings and Carapace on the way. We do see Stalkers poking forward a little bit for Sharkbot. Looking at that beautiful distribution of damage on the shields, those Stalkers, they got injured, they pulled out. And then Sharkbot hasn't got too much damage done, but it is still on a pretty good trajectory when it comes to macro. The Protoss bot is now over 85 workers. That 4th Nexus is mining. That means it's going to have a boatload of money coming on in, as we do have that speed mining, of course, taking place for both of these bots. I know I don't point it out every game, but it is definitely there, as these bots, they mine, I think it's like between 7 and 10% more than a human player, mineral-wise. And that is a big deal in a game of Starcraft 2 that's often played on a razor's edge. And so there's just no way that a bot could be programmed without that feature, really, because you'd just be at such a massive deficit. That's why these bots look so swarmy. The higher income is really crazy. And then we've got Caninana still just building up, not making the scariest composition, though, I'll say. I mean, Hydras and Lings and Roaches are okay, but seeing as how we're seeing Void Rays and Colossus be produced for Sharkbot, I'm not sure that Caninana's army is going to be up to stuff when it comes to taking on this Protoss force. Both bots are getting pretty close to that maxed out amount, though, so one of them will presumably move out for an attack. I imagine it's going to be Caninana, because Sharkbot does like to go for those slow cannon pushes. It's probably going to wait a little bit longer before it goes for any such attack. We've got a Ling blocking the 5th base of Sharkbot. That's really nice. These Lings, they have their value. They don't block bases as often as they used to, but it is still an incredibly strong move that you can go for as a bot author. So an observer's probably on the way over there to deal with it. It's just got to be something that's such a nightmare to deal with as a bot author. Being like, oh, I need an expansion, I better clean that up. And then you got to build it quickly, or another Ling will run on in. So I think we will be seeing that go up for Sharkbot, which is good. However, wait, no, that Ling is still there, pardon me. It wasn't killed. I guess I'm just blind. As Sharkbot, yeah, still unable to get that Nexus up. It's like, scratching its head. Like, something's going on here. So it builds a cannon, and that will eventually force that Ling out of there to allow the expansion. We are seeing Caninana move out as expected, though. Roaches and Hydras are going to have a tough time against Colossus, though, with Guardian Shield and Void Rays popping up. That is a nice concave for the Zerg, but Ling's running up a ramp into big Colossus beams is concerning. So the trades really are going the way of Sharkbot for now, as Sharkbot gets out Tempest, Warp Prisms, a Mothership, Cinnamon Spice, and everything nice as we see that production tab lighting up. Whereas Caninana is simply tacking into 2-2 and adding Infestors into its composition. The Infestors, though, could be all that Caninana needs, because it's got some of the best control with Infestors as far as the Zergbot goes. I'll say that I think it's safe to say it does have the best Infestor control. And now, so, I mean, things are looking nice for now for Sharkbot, but it's going to have to watch those fungals, those neural parasites we may see in the future. The Zergbot is getting those nice upgrades going, adrenal glands. We've got Sharkbot just straight up acknowledging Prism Deathball support, adding a Prism to potentially save units and do some fancy micro. As Sharkbot is really embracing that strategy. We do have Caninana hitting towards the south, killing off a bit of static defense. There is a Nexus building at that 5th base. If Caninana could kill or cancel that, it would be incredibly nice for the Red Zerg, as Caninana is hitting its stride now with its own macros. It's already got up 5, getting up a 6th base, so denying the Protoss' 5th would be really good. We may not see the 5th base get denied, but we may see shields get shut down. And that would be a good test for Sharkbot, whether it's got a contingency program to make sure it gets those upgrades done. I imagine there's a deeper logic programmed into Sharkbot just to run checks that it is getting its upgrades, all its upgrades that it can, and if not, to do something about it. So we will have those Lings potentially shutting down that forge. The Mothership, though, is popping its big cloak for Sharkbot. Sharkbot is stepping on to creep. The Infestors are revealed by those Oracles, which is really nice. That's the thing about programming a Protoss bot. It will always be utilizing its spells. It doesn't have its attention drawn elsewhere, so those Oracles being added into the composition don't exactly tax Sharkbot anything extra. We are seeing a bit of harassment go on, though, but there is cannons and batteries to help defend that location. We've got that forge shut down, but it's going to be rebuilt, this time in the exact same location, which isn't ideal for Sharkbot, as that's a bit of the definition of insanity. So we'll see if it does that a third time. A Tempest does get neural parasited, though, and that could be the first of many, as we do see that Tempest all of a sudden shooting friendly units. That neural will run out, though, and the Infestor may even get killed too. No, it just falls back. Caninana is really feeling the pressure as Sharkbot is inching forward. The control of this Protoss army is just nuts. The Red Zerg is being pushed back. I'm not sure what we have to see. Probably a couple fungal growths and then just a big dive by Caninana. It's really just trickling units into this death ball, though. It's not going to have long before it's got to go for a big pounce on this army, though. It's going to really, really rely on these fungal and neural parasites. Time Warp gets tossed down by Sharkbot. Incredible programming to put that on a great spot on the ramp. There's a lot of math that surely was used there. We are seeing the Protoss push really far off creep, and eventually Caninana has to pull the trigger on this, right? There's got to be some sort of check to say, yes, go for the fight. It's all or nothing. Caninana is just being bullied out of its own natural, though it looks like. We do see an Infestor hanging out at the natural. Another one goes down. And so Sharkbot really is just breaking through. The Zerg is now kind of fighting. We do see a Neural Parasite go down on an Archon. The Carrier or the Corruptors are scared, though. And what an attack by Sharkbot. Caninana seems to just be unable to stand up to this, as one of the more difficult things to program is to deal with the Death Ball, because you have to be decisive, and bots are all but that, as you gotta sort of program for the middle ground. We do see a couple of these Colossus get caught out. That's a lot of the damage gone from Sharkbot's army, and a lot of the zoning potential too. So Caninana isn't dead in the water yet. It has taken big damage, so losing the natural, losing the 5th. This Zergbot does have great economic redundancy, though, as it can just produce more drones, get out get more mining going. But yeah, what a rough spot for Caninana. Sharkbot is at least pulling back for now. We'll see how much time the red Zerg has. All in all, though, Sharkbot really has been dominating this game, it seems. And that Caninana's slow macro approach kind of has bitten it a little bit just by letting Sharkbot have momentum this whole game. We see a 6 base just somehow creeped all over, as that may now be getting cleaned on up by Sharkbot. It's spamming down lots of cannons, lots of batteries, and just holding down the fort for now. So I'm not sure what Sharkbot's waiting for. It's really giving Caninana time to breathe, whereas it could have potentially won the game. It's still going to be very difficult for Caninana, even if it hits 200 supply. We've seen a lot of Zergs over the years in StarCraft 2 just die to a Protoss army because they can't deal with it. And Caninana may be facing the same fate as its meaty pro gamer counterparts. Now, there is a Viper out. There's still lots of Infestors out for Caninana, so they're moving down the ramp. They're looking for something. The problem is the feedback for Sharkbot. It's an instantaneous spell. And we are seeing Hydras move down the ramp, but they do get hit with another great time warp by the Protoss. Hydras are moving off a creep. They're getting cut up by the Colossus now that they've been rebuilt. Sharkbot is just so dominant in this game, and Caninana is really having a hard time engaging with this army. And I am curious to see if we will potentially see some tweaks out of Caninana to deal with this, or maybe this is a rare case of a game, but it definitely is losing by not engaging fully. But at the same time, if your bot's math says, hey, if I take this fight, I'll lose, what else can you expect it to do? Just retreat and hope for better days, basically. That's what human players do sometimes. And yeah, I mean, Caninana is going for it. We see a Neural Parasite get tossed on down. I believe another one used there. However, the Protoss army does back off. The red Zerg has got a base down here that is going to be vulnerable, however. Caninana has yet to take another hatchery as well, which is unfortunate, as I think it does need more of an income. It's just having a hard time replacing all these units lost. And speaking of resources lost, it's a 2-to-1 trade ratio for Sharkbot. It's just doing so darn well for itself with this Deathball style. And it kind of makes you wonder why Sharkbot isn't higher on the ladder playing something like this. I guess it just doesn't get as much of an economic lead against the more greedy bots, and so it gets punished earlier. That's the only reason why I can see that Sharkbot is having a lot of success against Caninana here. Caninana may need to be more greedy against Sharkbot. Another Time Warp gets tossed down. It's incredible that someone has programmed Time Warp to be utilized in such a manner. Just, I guess, select the biggest pool of units and throw that down. Cloak is also being utilized. The Prisms are here to lift up injured units. Caninana has been having a hard time getting over 150 supply. Hydras and Corruptors are not cutting it. I think we may need to see a couple of Brood Lords as a response to this, actually. That might have been the tech that Caninana needed, and I'm not sure why we haven't actually seen some of those. Maybe just because of the Tempest presence, or maybe it never really hit the supply that it needed. It was just getting bullied non-stop. Hydras are moving forward. It has been a lot of them that have died. Caninana moves on in, but then it kind of moves out. There is a Viper with full energy, so we could see a big abduction, potentially. Supplies are within range of each other, 88 to 111. We've seen fights won from Caninana's perspective before. It's going to need to be a really good one, and we'll see if that actually happens, or if Caninana does just feed into the beast that is Sharkbot's ball of death. Protoss behind this, getting up more cannons, more batteries, taking over the middle of the map. Probes are running right on by, but they're healed by batteries for a while. An attempt at a Nexus does get shut down. Caninana's holding on. Looks like some Stalkers did go down as the Zerg moves forward, trying to pounce on top of this army. The Time Warp causes problems. That Viper has yet to use its spells. I'm not sure why it hasn't abducted any of these units. Maybe it's afraid of High Templar if there is any, but I don't believe there is. So I think abducting the Mothership or the Colossus would have been a good start. So I am wondering why that why that Viper isn't doing anything, pardon me. Caninana's just holding down the fort for now. It's still got this base mining, still got that one to the north, but it has yet to take another base. So a lack of expansion is quite problematic here. Probably just because it's investing in units non-stop. It's not hitting that 300 minerals it needs to build a new base. And I guess that when there's an army at your natural, the logical thing to do is to just make units and hopefully deal with it. So the Zerg still being pinned, getting whittled down on supply. Sharkbot is even taking a base on Caninana's side of the map. It's like the Protoss army does get split up a little bit. We did see some units die in this exact spot previously as, Warp Prism almost dies too after saving one unit. Disruptor gets tossed on down. It does kill the Infestor and rescue its Archon Bro that then gets saved in a Warp Prism. The Colossus, however, is left to die. An Abduction and a Parasitic Bomb hits it, but that Viper was a little late to the punch. We are seeing the Protoss bot move on down now, chasing some Queens around. This base has been identified, so we'll see if Sharkbot cleans that up or not. This Nexus will be denied by Caninana, but still, Caninana, if it loses this base, it's going to be in a lot of trouble. It's still mining at it, but it's just not hitting that 200 supply that it needs. We'll see if Sharkbot is kind enough to give Caninana time to hit 200 supply, then maybe it can take a fight. But it just takes so long off 54 drones to hit 200 supply. So that's why we really did need to see some more bases from Caninana. Tempest zoning this out. It has been a bit of a slow death for Caninana, it seems. A Nexus gets cancelled, but it's not a good feeling to shut down a base when it's on your side of the map. You're like, oh, can I really count that as a win? And yeah, Caninana down to 124 supply. I think we really are just seeing the slow death of the red Zerg here. Cloak once again gets used. The spellcaster usage of Sharkbot really is impressive, as those prisms saving some of the units. The Zerg unable to engage because of this mothership. There, of course, is the Time Warp getting tossed out. I really do like the liberal approach to spell usage. For example, Sharkbot spells, it's just been tossing them out and having successful ones. Caninana's Viper kind of waited a little too long. And so I think, and we've also seen it from other bots like Dominion Dog, just and then a couple of others that, like, just when it comes to, if you have a resource like a spell, just toss it out, just use it sooner rather than later. The Ravens of Dominion Dog are that example, using the auto turret very viciously. And so I think that is the approach of spell casting. Now, looks like Sharkbot is being backed into a corner. Hydras are getting on top of it, but I think now's the time to say that if we can hit a like for every dead Hydra in this game, that would be amazing. I don't think it'll happen, though, as it's 182 Hydras. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, click that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you watched all the way to the end of this video, but you're not subscribed. Leave a comment down below saying more bots. Join the Discord if you want to become part of the community. Sharkbot saying, okay, I'll join the Discord. Neural Parasite goes down, but that Infestor was on its own. I think we are just waiting for the end of Caninana at this point. The main base is now being threatened. Sharkbot, it's funny how Sharkbot never really builds up that big of a bank because it builds so many cannons. Just spending money in something that fights that doesn't take supply is pretty good. One Hydra fighting a bunch of probes down here, but then gets taken care of. The Zerg is now having its base be-mined by Sharkbot. This location's being taken out too, as this Zerg does get purified. And yeah, it's just Caninana not really having the army supply that it needs, and we have seen Caninana have great spellcaster usage when it does hit that 200 supply, but it seems it almost never got comfortable in this game. And so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as we just watch this all get cleaned on up, thanks so much for tuning on in. I know that some people don't like it when I fast forward, but I'm in the camp that when the result is pretty apparent. It's not like Caninana is going to change its behavior. It's a bot. It's pre-programmed, so it's not going to all of a sudden say, hey, I just came up with this new strategy or test it out. That's very much a human element and something that AI suffers from. Even Alpha Star, once you figured out how to beat it, you could beat it every time, because those vulnerabilities are stuck in it. And that is going to be that. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.